The real truth is, the history of humanity is cycle after cycle after cycle. We simply live in the last cycle of humanity, which started 12,000 years ago. Before this one, there was another one, and another one, and another one. In the last 100,000 years, 5 civilizational cycluses.
Welcome, friends. I'm very honored and pleased to be here with one of the persons that is changing the history of humanity, Dr. Samir Osmanagich, that is the person that discovered the biggest and oldest pyramid in the world. Thank you, Professor, to be here with us. Who is Samir Osmanagich?
So my name is Dr. Sam Osmanagich. Every one of us has 3 entities. The first one is our physical body, which comes with the emotion, intellect, energy aspects, and we have our life's careers. The second one is my soul. It's here. Soul goes through many, many lifetimes. This is just one life experience. The third entity is our spirit, our divine, cosmic beings. But you asked me really about the first entity. Who am I? I am an anthropologist. I am a happy man. I researched pyramids and megalithic sites for more than 4 decades. And I have realized that almost everything they teach us about the ancient history is wrong. The origin of man, civilizations, and pyramids. I have written 20 books about different ancient civilizations, humanity in the whole, but mostly about the pyramid sites. I am a member of many Academy of Sciences and some other societies, and I know that I steer a lot of interest around the world among mainstream and independent researchers. Some of them, they accept my work, they support, some of them are fully against it. But my message to them is, in order to find out who really built those structures, when they were built, how and what is the purpose, we need to research. We need to do the science. If we think that we know everything, then we become obstacles for scientific progress. We simply need to be open from the year when we are 7 to 77, and then there is a hope for humanity. 1 triangular face, 2, 3, 4, corner, 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 4 corners. So we have 4 triangular faces, 4 corners, and those sides are perfectly oriented to the north. Chinese pyramids, 250 of them, north. Indonesia, Cambodia, Egypt, Nubian pyramids, 224. Peruvian, 300 pyramids. Cahokia pyramids in the US, they are all oriented to the north. We started excavation on 20 different spots. This was the biggest one that you visited yesterday.
Here we see a foretaste of the images we will show you in the next videos, and it is the area indicated by the professor on the aerial photo just now, and it is the concrete layers found at the base of the Pyramid of the Sun.
Wherever we built, we are finding those blocks. Some of them rectangular, some of them square. We have analyzed concrete, the best quality artificially made concrete. So this is the hardness. Our concretes are 10 to 60 megapascals. This one here, 155 megapascals. This is the best quality concrete. From here, 220 meters. But look how the pyramids goes all the way to the bottom. The real height, 368. The Great Pyramid of Egypt, 146.6.
So more than double.
368, 2.5 times.
2.5.
This is here. Yeah, and the precision to the north, the most precise on the planet. Cheops has the error, 0 degrees, 3 minutes. This one here, 0 degrees, 0 minutes and 12 seconds. And the age, of course, 29,200 years, radiocarbon dating, the oldest pyramids. But the biggest achievement that we have here is not just to prove that we have pyramid complex, 6 pyramids, tumulus, underground tunnels. We discovered 7 entrances. The biggest achievement is that we have changed the narrative about pyramids. Archaeologists, historians, Egyptologists, elites from Oxford, they claim pyramids, tombs for pharaohs. No proof. Not a single pyramid has a mummy. What we are saying, by scientific measurements, pyramids are energy amplifiers, energy machines. And they were used for the benefits of communities. Communication, health protection, water improvement, food, molecular structure improvement, immunity improvement, blood improvement, our spiritual senses improvement. So really, the pyramid energy was used for the living beings, and it makes sense. Why would somebody use 6 million tons to build the Great Pyramid of Egypt? 6 million tons for one dead body. So much astronomical knowledge, calendar knowledge, sacred geometry knowledge, number pi, number phi, chambers. For one dead body, doesn't make sense. But if you build complex of pyramids as energy amplifiers, and you affect the community, the whole society, the agriculture and the water and all the social aspects, it makes sense. So what we do here, we are probably 50 years ahead of our time. And of course they don't like us, archaeologists, historians, they don't like us. We change everything. And small countries, they don't write history, especially not small non-profit foundation and one small man. They don't like that. Those who control the history control the present
And the future.
and the future.
Are you on the way to understand how this ancient technology worked?
Well, we have been working for 19 years now. We have done more in 2 decades than Egyptology in 200 years. It's state project, it's international project there. Here it's small foundations, but we have done more. In archaeology, there are 5 questions. First one is what? What is this? What we have, it's a pyramid complex. The second one is who. We don't know who built Egyptian pyramids. We don't know who built the first, oldest, biggest Chinese pyramids. Kocher in Cambodia, we don't know. Gunung Padang, Indonesia, we don't know. Teotihuacan, Mexico, we don't know. We don't know that. In Bosnia, also we don't know. But we know that they were very advanced civilization, like in Egypt. They were able to maneuver with millions of tons of material. They knew elements of sacred geometry, number pi, equilateral triangle, hexagon. Sun, moon and dragon in Bosnia. Equilateral triangle between the tops, plus 6 circles, we have hexagon and flower of life. So these are elements of sacred geometry. The next one, how? Well, in our case, we have the best quality concrete. How did they make such a hard concrete? Well, we can see they use material from the tunnels. Pebbles, rocks, sand. They are digging the tunnels, removing the material, and use this material to make those concrete blocks. All they needed was a binder. Today we use cement as the binder for the concrete. They used melted clay. They melted clay. How they melted, I don't know. Maybe they had high temperature, high pressure, How do they change the molecular structure? There are different ways. We use high temperature. What they use, I don't know. They added granite dust for hardness. You know, in Mexico, they were using seashells, grind it, adding to be better concrete. In Egypt, they were using eggshells, calcium carbonate as a binder. Here, granite powder. So the ancients were smart. The next question is when. We have done 28 radiocarbon dating of different organic materials, sun, moon, tunnels. We have done 12 uranium thorium analysis. In some of the tunnels we found stalagmites. Stalagmites are growing on top of the dry walls, meaning stalagmite is younger, dry wall below is older. The results, 19,000, 26,000, 24,000 years. So those structures very old. And we've done luminescence analysis. So in archaeology, three most common scientific analysis of date: radiocarbon, uranium thorium, luminescence. We have done all of them. So what the results show, we go back to 30,000 years. And now we change everything. They teach us in schools that the first civilization, Sumeria, 7,000. 50 years ago, Encyclopedia Britannica thought Sumeria 3,500. Now they say 6,000, 7,000. Of course, we have Göbekli Tepe, 11,600 officially. But when I talked to Dr. Klaus Schmidt, he told me 15 to 18,000. We have other site, also in southeastern Turkey, much older than the end of the last ice age, 12,000 years. So it was all older than that. Yonaguni monuments off the coast of Japan, on the bottom of Pacific floor, more than 12,000. Machu Picchu in Peru, there are four civilizations. The first one, maybe 54,000 years. Teotihuacan, Mexico, more than 12,000. So there are so many different sites. Adam's calendar, stone circles in South Africa, more than 12,000. How much old? I don't know how much. Michael Tellinger thinks 200,000 years. But the point is, there are so many sites around the world that will force us to change the history books. What they teach us today is that the history of humanity is the evolution. 10, 20, 30,000 years ago, we were primitive cavemen. Today, we are the most intelligent. The real truth is the history of humanity is cycle after cycle after cycle. We simply live in the last cycle of humanity, which started 12,000 years ago. Before this one, there was another one, and another one, and another one. In the last 100,000 years, 5 civilizational cycles. They ended 75,000 years ago with the huge volcanic explosions in Indonesia. For hundreds of years we could not see the sky. 54,000 with some type of the chemical explosions. What happened, I'm not quite sure. 34,000 years ago we have solar energy, blasting the surface of the planet. It burned everything on the planet. 18,500 and 12,000 years ago. So 5 huge catastrophes. So humanity goes up, catastrophe hits, start from the beginning. And the beginning. Is it possible that besides Homo sapiens, we had some other advanced intelligence who were helping or who were the real builders? I think it's very possible. I don't think that Homo sapiens had such a knowledge of tools, transportation means, designs. After 20 years in Bosnia, when it comes to the 5th question, remember, archaeology, what, who, when, how, and why. The question why, the purpose, I think we've done more than anybody else on the planet. We are saying energy amplifiers. How do we know? Because we measure. You know, we have the sun pyramid. Below, under the ground, there is an iron plate. Iron, ferrum. Iron generates electromagnetic fields. The pyramid pulls this field. How do we know? Because we have measured. Here and at the top. At the top, 50 times stronger. So pyramid amplifies electromagnetic field. The next one, under the pyramid, underground water flow. Water moves, it releases negative ions. The pyramid amplifies the negative ions. How do we know? Because we measure it. We measure it 3-4 times a week. We have instruments called air ion counter. The values in our tunnels that you visited yesterday are the highest on the planet. Higher than the Niagara Falls in Canada and America. The next energy elements, electricity. What kind of electricity? One, underground water, another one, underground water. Between them, there is a charge, voltage, electricity in the air. The pyramid pulls this electricity. There are 7 levels of passageways, like a spiral. Electricity goes to the very top. That's the energy beam that we measure. We have had 5 different independent teams from 5 countries with their own equipment, 5 different time periods. They said 28 kilohertz frequency, 4.5 meter radius, electrical in nature. And then the pyramid, during the excavation and in the tunnels, we have discovered a lot of quartz crystal. Quartz crystal has the ability to amplify the energy and to transform one form of the energy into another. Here we measure electromagnetic fields. Electromagnetism hitting the quartz crystal, there is a process called piezoelectrical effect, and it transforms electromagnetic field into the ultrasound. And we measure both electromagnetic and the ultrasound. So see how the ancient builders were playing with different types of energies. And good for us is that we can measure it. If you can measure it, you can scientifically prove. So the pyramid is energy amplifiers. And all those energies can be used for our benefits. Like I said, communication, these are so-called scalar waves. When you are in the tunnels, these are beneficial energies, the best electromagnetic field, the best ultrasound field, the best low frequency Schumann resonance, 7.83 Hz, a lot of negative ions, a lot of orgone energy, and absence of all bad energies. No cosmic radiations, which is harmful, no natural radioactivity, no geopathogenic radiations, no signal for the mobile phones, no signal for the Wi-Fi, internet. Those 10 elements, they create the tunnels as the safest place on the planet and the healthiest. People go inside, what they do, if they have some respiratory problems, asthma, they go inside a few times, they don't need air pump no more. People with high blood pressure, getting normalized. People with high sugar in the blood, glucose, it drops. People with very serious diseases, they improve their health. Why? Because of those 10 elements. No bad energies, only good. The regeneration process starts in our body. So now we realize, hey, they use this for communication and to protect what is the most precious, health. And of course the water in the pyramid vibrates high. And we are what we drink, we are what we eat, we are what we think. These are all good beneficial pyramid energies. So this is completely new approach. It is interdisciplinary scientific approach. And this is what's missing in Egypt. In Egypt, only archaeologists, Egyptologists. They don't let physicists, engineers, medical doctors, no. They jealously guard their project. Peru, China, Mexico, the same thing. Here, different. Open for everyone. Come. Plus, we have volunteers coming from all over the world. They work with us. They discover things with us. And then they represent us as the ambassador.
If you like this video, hit the like and subscribe to the channel, because it's the best way to support our work.
It is important to learn about the past.
So you mentioned there is a iron dish,
Iron
plateau.
ore, iron
This
ore.
is, do you know it's
Probably-
artificial?
I don't know, but I suspect it's natural. Because there is a lot of iron ore and some other minerals and metals in Bosnia, many. It was just that they had to find location with the iron. They had to find location with underground waters. They had to find locations with many ley lines here in Visoko. So they knew our planet better than we do.
How much do you think is important to know, understand the real history, to understand where we live, who we are?
That should be the first question for every one of us when we got born. Why we are here? How did they live before? What are their experiences? What we can learn from them? What we can really learn from the past? I think people were much more spiritual than us. Spiritual, not in a sense religious. Religious is one thing. Faith, church, another thing. Spirituality, open yourself to spiritual senses. 5 physical senses, we can see, we can hear, we can smell, we can taste, we can touch. But 30 spiritual senses, feeling the energy, seeing the energy, not only what's visible to our physical eyes, it is less than 1% of all the pictures. What we hear, less than 1% of all sounds. If we develop different senses, spiritual senses, we can see more, we can hear more, we can touch more, we can feel the energies, we can develop telepathy, thought exchange, we can develop telekinesis, we can develop teleportation. So once we develop all of this, and I believe some of the previous civilizations, some of the pyramid builders, they had those abilities. Why do I think that? You know, when you build a house in Italy or Germany or America or in Bosnia, you have to have drawings. Not one drawing. You have to have so many drawings. Concrete, foundation, walls, roof, plumbing, electricity, this and that, right? Pyramids in Egypt or Mexico or Peru, not a single drawing. How is it possible? In Egypt, every stone block is different size. No drawings? It's impossible. But there are other ways. How about they communicated telepathically? 20 people or 20 intelligent beings communicate, exchanging thoughts. Okay, we should do this, we should do that, we should carry there, we should transport it this way, we should install it this way. So there are different ways. So if we could learn about the past, we could learn about many secrets.
The evidence of how many civilizations have you found?
Working in the tunnels and in 7 different entrances, in just one of them, Ravne 3 tunnels, we have discovered 3,300 artifacts, mostly ceramic and metal pieces. They belong to different time periods. For example, late Middle Age, early Middle Age, Byzantine times, ancient Roman times, and Neolithic times, 5,000 years. However, we discovered stalagmites that was on the top of one of the dry walls. Stalagmites is taking us back to 25,000 years ago, meaning that this wall was built even before. So the major constructions, the dry walls and tunnels, somebody digging the tunnels, passageways and chambers, it takes us back to 3,000 years. Have we found any tools belonging to original builders? The answer is no. I think they were using very advanced tools. We could not find anything. Have we found any drawings, any symbols from those times? No. I think they were using very advanced spiritual senses to communicate and to design. Menhirs are upright standing stones, something like this. This is 2 tons. We made this. In Europe, it used to be 250,000 menhirs. In Central European countries, in Southern Europe, in Western Europe. But in the 12th century, Inquisition started destroying all the menhirs. Why did they destroy the menhirs? Well, in some countries, like in southern France, there was a menhir like this one, 175 tons. It went up for 25 meters, 10 meters below. Inquisition, the church came, they are looking, wow, it's impossible for the men to make this. So they said, this is devil's work. So they started to, destroy them. They destroyed 200,000 menhirs. But 50,000 remain. Archaeologists have no clue who made them, why, when. Well, when they think it's about 5,000 to 8,000 years, and they are right. But why? They don't know. Why they don't know? They don't have engineering mind. They don't realize that under the ground there is an energy flow. Water moving, energy moving. If you sleep above water, you're going to get sick. It's negative energy. You place menhir like this, neutralize negative energy from the water. Under the ground, there are Hartmann lines, 30 centimeters, east-west, north-south. Intersections, if you sleep above intersection, you cannot sleep well. In the morning, you wake up tired. You can do nothing. You cannot do agriculture, you cannot fight. You place menhir, neutralize negative energy from Hartmann intersections. So, this block neutralizes 50-meter radius. This block, 1 kilometer. The ancients were smart. So, this is one example. Megaliths, megalithos, Greek, big stone, or menhir in Old Breton, long stone. Many archaeological phenomena like this, modern archaeology does not understand. Dolmens, combination, upright and horizontal plate. They don't know why. You sit under the dolmen, you have complete relaxation of your mind. You can make proper decisions, meditations. So, we need to connect 2 worlds, physical and spiritual.
So, menhirs are kind of acupuncture for the planet.
Acupuncture using needles for energy flows. We have 144 energy points. So use acupuncture and the needles to make energy flow better. But for the planet, megaliths are used. So we have one geopunctural circle where you place megalith on energy potent places and it makes the energy flow better on the planet. So yes, you are right. It's always about the energy. In this case, energy flow. Now I have several pavilions dedicated to the Vinca civilization. Vinca originated 9,000 years ago. The Vinca town was at the mouth of river Sava and river Danube. That's where today Belgrade is, in Serbia. And this is the first civilization in Europe after the end of the last ice age. The first cultural oasis, 11,500, Lepenski Vir, Danube, Serbia and Romania. The first civilization, Vinca, 9,000 years. Well, the archaeologists, historians in London, in Paris, in Germany, in Vienna, Austria, they say, it's not civilization, it is a culture. I'm saying no. It is a civilization because it had all the features of civilization. It has a huge area. It encompasses today Serbia and Croatia and Bosnia and Montenegro and Macedonia and Greece and Bulgaria, Romania, Hungary. Huge area. Second, half of the European population lived in Vinca. Number three, the first urban centers were in Vinca. What is the urban center? You have the architecture. 9,000 years ago, these were houses in Vinca. You go at that time to Germany, Spain, Scandinavia, people living in the caves. Vinca had the architecture. Those houses. This is like today. 3 rooms. Living room with a kitchen. Bedroom. Storage. 9,000 years back. Vinca. In the Balkan region. Vinca had the first writings. Well, Berlin, London, Paris, Vienna say, oh, it's not writing, these are signs. Sign is an arrow, go right. These are symbols. For example, this one here is very well known. It's called swastika. Well, we know swastika because of the Nazis, 1930s in Germany. We know swastika because of ancient Rome, flags, 2,000 years ago. You go to Google, it will say swastika 5,000 years, Hindu, very positive symbol, sun. No. Vinca, 9,000 years. So you see how everything they teach us in Wikipedia is wrong. Many symbols. Vinca, the first metallurgy in Europe. They melted copper and gold. But they were making only tools. And they were making designs for women, in special occasions. No military equipment. So, Vinca, the first trading along the riverbeds, they were trading. The first financial services. And in 3 Vinca cities, in today's Serbia, Bulgaria, Romania, they discovered 2,000 artifacts with a triangular head, elongated eyes, elongated eyes, elongated eyes, elongated eyes. What do they represent? 2,000 artifacts. Not one, 2,000. They knew exactly who to make. This is not Homo sapiens, obviously. Who is this? Maybe someone who brought the knowledge of architecture and writing and trading and metallurgy. Only one region in Europe. Everything else was primitive. East, west, north. Maybe half gods. We don't know who. Many mysteries.
Do you think is there some kind of connection with other places where there are pyramids, or maybe with this story of that not human bodies that's found in Nazca?
I think there is a connection. This is what I call the episodes on different parts of our planet. You have episode where human beings, Homo sapiens, lived together, at least for the short time, with some more advanced intelligent beings. Something like this. So it's the case here in the Balkan region, in Peru, in Egypt, in Mexico, in Tibet, and many different places. Australia, of course. So we simply have to stay open for different options. Now, we do need scientific proofs, but we are finding them step by step. Professor Korotkov. He comes regularly here to Visoko. By the way, he will be here the first week of September 2024. He's coming with several other physicists and engineers. We will be doing the series of measurements. So these are people who are open-minded, who apply science, who use scientific instruments, scientific, dating and stuff like that. That's the only way to get the answers about our origin. Here I built the new installation. It's called Illyrian, Slavic, Bosnian fairies. There are many legends about the fairies. We had them about Celtic fairies, about German fairies, about Latin fairies. But here I'm talking about the Bosnian fairies. We have fairies from the hill. We have mountain fairy. We have red fairy. We have golden fairy, that's queen of all fairies. We have Bosnian fairy. So many legends about them. Creatures, intelligent creatures living in the forests. Sometimes helping people, sometimes not. Sometimes showing them the way out of the wood, out of the forest. Sometimes helping them with the kids. There are many stories that the fairies were actually feeding young babies and they would become the greatest warriors and so on. So these are beautiful stories, but then the problem here in the Balkan, as the conquerors were coming from east, from north and from west, they were destroying our cultural heritage. Well, some of that heritage we are bringing back here. So we are combining the art and the history. If people are talking about it, there is something behind it. Of course, with the time, you had the original events that happened, and then after that you had oral tradition, and then you have legends, and then you have myths. Every time some things were added or taken, out. So the end results, there's a lot of fantastic stories, but what was the true story? There was something. What was it? Hard to say. About the fairies, I would say probably they were of different sizes. Some of them were visible, some of them were not visible. And maybe at one point they left when they see in which direction humanity goes. And this is the wrong direction. But it's nice stories, There is a little legend about the fairy from Montenegro. Usually the fairies, they would have golden, beautiful hairs and beautiful blue eyes. But this fairy in Montenegro, she had brown eyes. And one day, a sailor came to the Montenegro. Blue eyes, very handsome man. And she fell in love. But since she had brown eyes, she felt, I'm not so worthy like him. So she went to the god and said, hey, I met this man. I fell in love. I would like to have blue eyes so we can be equal. But God got very upset. He said, well, you know that fairies and humans should not mix. So he took her eyesight away. And then she was crying and crying and crying. And from her tears, the whole lake was created. And that lake today is known as the Skadar Lake in Montenegro, of beautiful blue color. So she got her blue colored lake. They all had the ability to heal. They could kill you, they could bring you back from dead. So these are stories about these are interesting stories, There is something there, obviously. How they would heal you, probably using the plant-based medicine. Everything is around us. Well, what we are building here, it's a unique combination, of the old legends and cultural heritage and some rulers and stuff like that. So I think people like it, they enjoy it. This is the place of the spiritual peace. We call this place Magic Forest. And this here is our flag. Our flag, the blue one, the bandera, yes. Our flag, as you can see, it says love, peace, freedom. And everybody understands that. Love is cosmic binder, peace, no more wars or violence, and freedom. We are all free. Love, peace, freedom, it's on the blue color. Blue is the symbol for the unlimited sea. Blue is a symbol for unlimited sky, no limits, freedom. And those two unlimited spaces, the sky and the seas, they meet right here. One energetical installation. It's happening in different aspects. Hug the tree. We teach kids how to feel the energy of the tree, how to feel the auric field of the tree. And the kids, they are not spoiled, they can feel the energy. We tell them, okay, pick up the tree that you like. Open your hands. Can you feel the energy? Yes. And now ask the tree to give you some of its auric field, some of its energy. And kids can feel energy flowing through their fingers. After a minute we say, now open your eyes, hug the tree, say thank you, and show your love. And look at the kids. Look at them. This is the lecture nobody else teaches them in the schools. When they come here, we teach them that. Look, look. And when they leave from here, when they go to the parks with their parents, or they go to mountains, to the pine tree forest, they will remember this. Hey, everything is alive. Everything has its own energy. And we should respect every living being, including trees. So this park, this is where we, teach them about energy and spirituality and history and art and, no discrimination. This should be the future of humanity.
What do you think about giants? Have you found evidence of giants in our history?
I've been reading a lot, different sources about the existence of giants. Different places, from America to Europe, even our parts here in the Balkan, Croatia, Bosnia, Serbia. In Serbia, near the town of Niš, when they were doing some roads renovation, below the ground they found a huge, like 3.5 meter big human bones. In 1870s, 1880s, the Smithsonian Institute was sending their teams to dig on those mounds, like Cahokia mounds, they're like a pyramid, many conical mounds, the tumuli. And they said in an interview to Chicago Tribune in 1884 that they discovered the skeletons 3 to 4 meters long, but they moved them to Smithsonian, Washington DC, and they hide them. And until today they've been hidden. And then you realize that the biggest museums in the world, in America, in United Kingdom, in France, in Germany, they are not there to show the heritage to the people. They are there, number one, to hide our real history.
How could you build this different kind of way of studying?
Because I was thinking differently. I was not part of the establishment. If I went to the archaeological school, I would have the same limitations. I was doing different studies. I was studying, economics, 4 years, political sciences, 4 years, sociology, 2 years, master in international economy, PhD in history of civilization. And to understand the societies, you need to know economics, their economical power. You need to understand financial, you need to understand spirituality, you need to understand religious, you need to understand, all this stuff. Archaeology, not enough. Archaeology, very, very limited. And they teach you to learn by heart. Egyptian pyramids, 100,000 slaves, pharaohs. What pharaohs? Who had technology to, cut and shape granite blocks? Not in pharaonic times. Today we use diamond tools. What did they use? Archaeologists are saying primitive copper, soft tools. Impossible. 100,000 slaves, they drag it. What are you talking about? There were no 100,000 people in Egypt 4,500 years ago. But they teach us to learn this by heart. So they limit our kids, they limit our students. Me, not limited, open. And I open this project. Whoever wants to come, please come. You want to measure? No problem. Measure, share the results with us so we can share them with the world. You want to do radiocarbon dating? No problem. Come, here's the organic material. Send us result also. So, different approach. And then plus, since the government does not extend any money for our archaeological activities, scientific activities, we need to find, the best way. And our way is to open the project for the visitors, for the tourists. People come, they, pay a little bit for the tunnels, for the pyramids, for this and that, souvenir books. So it's not much money, but it helps us to keep moving. So now we expand. So besides archaeology and science and energy and healing, spirituality, I purchased 100,000 square meters of land. Those properties were neglected, they were muddy, they were swampy, a lot of garbage. We cleaned everything, we cleared everything, we drained the water, we started planting a lot of trees and flowers and bushes. We made a beautiful water flow here and started building different installations. So this one here about pyramids around the world is just one of them. We have many of them there. The near history and the old history, about the fairies, about different kings, about giving true history, labyrinths of love and energy. And so we made a beautiful place which is cultural oasis, artistic oasis, sport oasis, recreational oasis, oasis of the real truth. And finally, when we think about this moment, the new Western values, they are telling us transhumanism, upgraded human with the biochip, GMO food, digital money, digital banks, full control 24 hours a day. We are saying no. There is different concept. The true history, the art, the beauty of life. We take care of what we eat, what we drink, what we think. We think we need to go back to the harmony among us people and harmony with the nature.
So, like everywhere in the world, pyramids and monolithic architecture and so on, they are built in places that are sacred, maybe is a word to say there is a lot of energy or whatever, they understand better than me.
Yes.
But what do you think about this? This is a huge system of tunnels, 6 or more pyramids, 5, 6 or more pyramids. And so maybe a big machine, maybe intercommunicating with other big machines we know in the world. I don't know, Giza, I don't know, Teotihuacan. So do you think, or may we think that they were collaborating all around the world? Because you mentioned the 5 civilizations, no? I don't know if the same that Herodotus wrote, but we have an ancient tradition that also say that one of these ants could be made for wars. So it seems a wonderful world that everyone collaborates, but maybe we are talking about different eras. Maybe.
Well, you are right. When you have big machines, when you have a lot of energy, it can be used for good purposes or it can be abused. Well, if somebody abused it, is it possible that other civilization decided to, break it or, not enable it for somebody to work? Because you can do harm. It's like with the laser. Lasers you can use in the medical industry to help you regain your eyesight for good purposes. Or you can make a laser gun and start killing people. So I think it's very possible that somebody was abusing the pyramid energy. And that's why, maybe original builders came back and they said, okay, now this machine will not work anymore properly. Why do we have all these tunnels filled with the material? I think the reason why the energy was flowing through the tunnels, feeding the pyramids. Now, without the energy flow, it became very weak energy machine. I think it's the same thing with the Egyptian pyramids, same thing with the Mexican pyramids, and so on. So there were games in the past. We are talking tens and tens of thousands of years. Now, how was in the beginning? Was it one super civilization or several different advanced civilizations? Well, I don't know. I'm not quite sure. Was it different time? Yeah, there were probably different times. Sometimes you have 50,000 or 34,000 or 42,000 or 12,000 or 5,000. But obviously, the intelligent beings, they have been fighting for the energy always. What do we do today? Everything is in energy about us. We try to get to the energy. We have different energy sources. What we have as far as the energy is, everything is wrong. We have it dirty, limited, and very expensive. Dirty. Coal, oil, gas, nuclear, all dirty. All limited, and all very expensive. So those who are running those processes are so-called elites. They're actually monsters in the financial, corporate world. And based on, such limited and expensive resources, they have all the fortune of the planet. Only 3,000 super billionaires own 90% of the planetary resources. And 3,000 people is 0.0025 of human population. At the same time, 90% of the people, they struggle in daily life to pay the bills. Every 3 seconds, one child dies because of the hunger. One child in Sudan, 3 more seconds, one child in Niger, in Nigeria, in Yemen, in South Sudan, in Bangladesh, every 3 seconds. If we use only 10% of military expense around the world, thousands of billions of dollars, only 10%, we could eradicate hunger. No more hungry people. You see what those monsters who have all those, resources do to the planet, to the same fellow human beings? It's a shame. So, imagine now the free energy. No more oil and gas exploration, no more coal mines, no more big oil tankers, no more refineries, no more petrochemical, no more pharmaceutical industry, no more food industry with the poisoned additives. So, without, those resources, we could change the world. Imagine you have free energy. You have enough energy as you want. Like Nikola Tesla wanted. He wanted to give us clean, unlimited, and free energy. Everything would change. No more differences among the people. No more injustice. No more unfair distribution of the resources. With the free energy, this is the first pillar of the free society. With the fair distribution of the resources, you have society based on fairness, and people are becoming happy. Why would somebody have $200 billion and others drink, poisoned water? So you see how the question of the energy and pyramids, after initial investment, it's clean, it's unlimited, it's free. So if we add using maybe magnetic energy like Tesla wanted, with those 2 different sources of energy, we have resolved energy problem of the planet. So no more control, no more manipulation, no more unequal distribution.
Every kind of academy has a big part in that to cover up
Yes.
the real history and cover up everything. So in this case, how do they replicate what they sell? I've understood they sell is natural.
Yeah, they are saying it's all natural geological phenomena. You go to non-scientific sites fully controlled like Wikipedia, National Geographic, Smithsonian, Encyclopedia Britannica. They give 80% of good general information, 20% highly controlled. Physics, astronomy, NASA, moon landing, archaeology, history. It's fully controlled. Here they say it's natural. And I said, okay, give me another example of natural hill with 4 triangular faces. There is none.
But you have mentioned a lot of scientific proofs.
Yes, they ignore. But I don't care either. In 2008, I had 10,000 visitors. In 2018, 40,000. In 2023, last year, 195,000. This year, 250,000. We grow every year. In a few years, 500,000. In 10 years, 1 million. So when you have millions coming here, that's all I care. They come, they have benefits, they come, they like it, they move on. So those people who attack me, saying there is nothing there, who are skeptics, who are this, they give their opinions. They don't give scientific arguments. They did not come to, analyze the concrete. No. They are saying, oh, it's impossible. Oh, this is natural. Oh, this is geological. Oh, give me the proof. No proof. So they give their opinions.
But they are poisoning us. Why? Why do they do that?
They poisoned the air, the atmosphere, the soil, the waters. Those people who are behind decisions, okay, go ahead and spray it, or go ahead and put the fluoride in the food, or go ahead and treat the water, or go ahead and poison all these, domestic animals that we eat, chicken or beef or other food. Their children will be eating and will be exposed to all these poisons.
Sure.
There is not like, okay, on this island live only super billionaires, everything is clean. No, there is not such a place. Why do they do that? For me, most probably there is even bigger force behind them. And they made them do it. If they don't do it, they will remove them and put somebody else. Who are those forces? Hard to say. Are they of human origin? I don't know.
Sta registrando?
Sì.
Okay. So here we are in a moment of history very strange. A lot of people have a lot of difficulties, like we are in the middle of a crossway. Some people are confused or overwhelmed. And I don't know if you have some advice for them, or also for young people that would like to be free researcher, or I don't know, archaeologist or somewhat.
Number one, we have to stay open for different information. We need to read, listen, and watch information coming from different sources, mainstream and independent. And then we should filter all those information and start building our, knowledge base. People should be traveling. They should be thinking for themselves. They should not take for granted what the guides or some scientists or institutions tell them. They should do their own research. We have great tools. Internet is the biggest and the greatest tool ever. Our problem is our young generation, they just go and check one site. Most time Wikipedia or Google, which is basically the same thing. They need to go much deeper. Once they do that, once they do research for themselves, and once they start measuring and getting some other people from different fields, then they should get the real truth about our past. And let's not forget, we have had more advanced civilizations than ours, and we have so much to learn from them in this physical aspect, scientific, but also in spiritual aspect. We need to bring these topics to the world all the time. Especially now when YouTube and all other social medias are there, we need to keep talking about it. When I started this project here 20 years ago, now we have completely new generation. When I started my research 40 years ago, well, we have had 2 generations in the meantime. These young people, their attention span is very short. That's why we need to use TikTok and the other social media. But we need to get interest for them, at least from some of them, because majority, they waste much of their time doing really nothing worthy, TikTok.
And maybe it's
Instagram.
not necessary that the whole humanity
No.
wake up.
No.
Maybe it's necessary a small part of it.
Yes. Minority is fine. So yeah, it's important that we talk, and we do it without control and the pressure from the above. And we can do the good things. You see, we built this space. It's a huge complex. Research and park and everything. We built it without a penny from the government. Usually people are expecting the money. Departments of archaeology, universities, museums, they all expect money. When they get the money, they do some work. Not here. We had a vision, enthusiasm, and we are making things happen. And we are building a wonderful place.
Very, very beautiful. So thank you so much, Dr. Professor Osmanagich. I hope I can tell well your name.
Osmanagich.
Osmanagich, sorry,
That's
Osmanagich.
okay, no problem.
Thank you so much, Kvala, for your time.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
If you like this video, hit the like and subscribe to the channel because it's the best way to support our work.